What you are about to hear is one of the most unsettling and enigmatic stories in the entire Bible. A story that speaks of colossal beings, of giants who walked among men, of mysterious forbidden unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men have come to light. Today, we will dive into the mystery of the Nephilim, the giants who, according to the scriptures, inhabited the earth in ancient days. Who were they? Where did they come from? Why does the Bible present them as part of a dark and disturbing chapter of humanity? 1. The account in Genesis. In Genesis 6, verses 1 to 4, we read, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown." What does this passage really mean? Who were those sons of God? Were they fallen angels who united with human women, or descendants of the line of Seth who were corrupted by the daughters of Cain? The truth is that the consequence of those unions were the giants, called in Hebrew Nephilim, a word that means the fallen ones. The Bible doesn't give many details about the appearance of the Nephilim, but tradition describes them as enormous beings with supernatural strength, men of renown, warriors impossible to defeat. Can you imagine walking among them, men who measured 3, 4, 5 meters tall? Beings whose shadow could cover entire houses, whose voices rumbled like thunder. The text says they were mighty men, men of renown. But were they heroes or tyrants who ruled with violence? The evidence points to the latter. The following chapter describes how the earth was corrupted and filled with wickedness, and God decided to destroy everything with the flood. Was the flood perhaps a direct response to the existence of these giants? Was the union of the divine and the human so dangerous that God had to restart humanity? The text says that only Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. He and his family were saved, while everything else perished beneath the waters.
Here a mystery arises. Genesis 6:4 says that there were giants in those days and also after that. How is that possible? If the flood destroyed everything, how could the Nephilim have survived? The answer appears centuries later when Israel enters the Promised Land. There they encounter peoples described as descendants of giants, the Rephites, Anakites, and Emites. In Numbers 13:33, the spies sent by Moses to explore Canaan returned terrified. "And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight." Can you imagine the scene? 12 men sent to observe the Promised Land returned saying they saw giants so enormous that they felt like insects before them. The land of Canaan was inhabited by powerful nations, among them the sons of Anak. The book of Deuteronomy mentions entire peoples of colossal stature. Deuteronomy 2:10-11 says, "The Emims dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims, which also were accounted giants as the Anakims, but the Moabites called them Emims." Isn't it disturbing? Moses himself confirms that these peoples were considered giants, so numerous that they inhabited vast territories. Later in Deuteronomy 3:11, one of the most famous kings is mentioned. "For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man." That means King Og's bed was over 4 meters long. How tall must this king have been then? The story of the giants extends like a shadow in the biblical texts. They appear in Genesis, in Numbers, in Deuteronomy, in Joshua. They show up again and again as a persistent threat that never completely disappears. The question is, why did God allow them to reappear after the flood? Did they somehow survive, or was the forbidden union between the sons of God and the daughters of men repeated? The truth is that the Nephilim, under different names, were still present when Israel entered the land that had been promised to them, and their figure became part of the most remembered wars of the Old Testament. When the spies returned with their report about Canaan, 10 of them spoke in fear. "We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we." And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, "The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature." Can you imagine the panic? Warriors who looked like mountains, fortified cities inhabited by giants? But 2 spies, Joshua and Caleb, said that God would give them the victory. Who was right? Those who saw the land through eyes of fear, or those who believed that even the giants could fall?
The Bible and other ancient texts leave us with a trail of shadows and legends about the existence of colossal beings. In the book of Genesis, chapter 6, it is told that the sons of God descended to earth and joined with the daughters of men, giving birth to the Nephilim, giants who walked upon the face of the world in ancient times. This story, brief but powerful, has raised questions for centuries. Who really were those sons of God? Fallen angels, celestial beings, or perhaps something beyond what humanity can comprehend? The Nephilim are described as beings of great strength and power, fearsome warriors who filled the earth with violence. According to some interpreters, they were the result of a forbidden mixture between the divine and the human, a union that broke the order established by God. This transgression brought serious consequences. Corruption and chaos spread, and as a response came the Great Flood, a divine judgment that sought not only to purify humanity, but also to eradicate these creatures.